Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at energy fuels. It is time for another update, and on this chart we have been tracking this idea of a 1-2 setup that has formed over the last 5 years, and now we are looking for the third wave to the upside. Now that is what we are tracking, that is what we are looking to achieve, but I have to warn you, especially since we may be heading towards the top of this wave 3 very likely, that this could overall turn into an ABC structure that is developing to the upside, especially since the proportions of this wave, internal wave 1, are a bit large, where normally within a wave 1 we wouldn't necessarily expect to reach the 100% extension. That would be more like a target for a wave C, but then if we are looking for a third wave to the upside and we are forming a 5-wave structure to the 100% extension, it is too short to really be a third wave, and it is a bit too long to be a wave 1. Now don't get me wrong, at times this does happen and it does work, where we form an additional wave 1 that pushes all the way to the 100% extension and then finds support in a 3-wave structure to the downside in a wave 2, and does indeed form the third wave to the upside. But there is a certain element of risk to that aspect of forming such a structure. Now, if we are actually in the third wave to the upside, we would be looking at an ideal target at the 138.2% extension, which is at around the $130 level. That is an approximation. I may have not drawn even the fibs perfectly. The extensions may not be in the perfect place, but yeah, it is an estimative target that we are looking to reach within the wave 3. Now, in the previous videos, we have been looking at this resistance area that we had here in red to provide a possible resistance for a possible push higher in something like a wave B that could have been an overshoot and allowed the price to find support in a reset of the wave 2 here in green. And it did work. I mean, it did provide us some relevant levels, especially at the 88.7% retracement, which was a bit tough to break through. Then previously at the 138.2% retracement, which we had the previous top before we actually made the new tops in the last few days. And then since we actually broke above it, I really have no longer a use for it. Now that played its role and we can now move on. Now internally, within this third wave to the upside, or rather the wave 1 within the wave 3, we have been tracking here a 5-wave move to the upside, and we have been looking to form a very possible top within this internal wave 5, where we have been tracking an ending diagonal. Now before we get any closer, I do also want to point out that since we did reduce and pretty much remove the probability of an overshooting wave B, I would now like to shift this white scenario to green to be part of the larger trend that we are tracking, because now even if we actually fail to form the next high and we go back into the green support zone, I wouldn't really consider this a reset in a wave 2 anymore. Instead, I would more likely be looking for a quite different pattern instead. So let's shift all of these white interpretations to the green scenario to be part of the main interpretation that we are tracking on this chart. Now, as I was saying, within this movement to the upside in 5 waves, we have been looking for the completion of this wave 3 within this 5th wave to the upside, where we have been tracking an ending diagonal, within which we have so far previously built only 3 waves up, where we had an ABC structure in the wave 1, an ABC structure in the wave 3, and then we were looking, and we still are probably, in an ABC structure, or for an ABC structure within the wave 5. And in the previous videos, I provided you various support levels that worked out wonderfully. And we have found support here in a wave 4, and we did start our 5th wave to the upside. I then provided you an additional support area for an entry in a wave B that also worked out. Now, we are probably still in the C wave to the upside, but we have very relevant levels that we must hold for this scenario to work out. And also I want to mention, I do have counts within which this 5th wave, or this entire wave 3 actually, is complete and we do have a full count, so we need to be extra careful, and it needs to hold those certain levels for continuation to the upside to still be possible. Now, even there are cases in which some of these could fail and we could still see higher highs afterwards, but that would really be within an extension of this fifth wave, where this entire movement would prove to be just an A wave up and then we get a B wave down and then still a C wave to the upside. But that seems quite unlikely to me, to be honest, and yeah, I wouldn't prefer that scenario anyway. Now, in this idea, we have reached the expected levels for the wave 5. We have fulfilled the expectations, and we do have even a possible complete count in something like an A wave up all the way here, a B wave down, and here a short C wave to the upside. That would be a full count. And if we count, we have different interpretations that we are tracking. If we are looking for something like an A wave top here, maybe a B wave bottom here, something like that, could be that the wave topped here instead, and we have here the wave B. We are looking anyway to form a 5-wave move to the upside in this wave C. Now, depending on how this actually develops, we could be looking at a few different Fibonacci levels for support and for continuation to the upside. But in either case, I have been checking this, and a key level that I am looking at is the $18 level in either case. So either if we have here a 1, 2, 3, and the fourth that we are looking for here, and then a fifth wave to the upside, I'm looking at the $18 level, somewhere around that area, at the 61.8% retracement. And if I'm looking at something like a 1, 2, and within the wave 3, we have here an A wave up, a B wave down, and then we are looking for the C wave to the upside, I can be looking instead at a correction for an expected wave B, which would allow a retracement all the way down to the 78.6% retracement instead of the 61.8% retracement, which, yeah, this one actually extends more towards the $18 level, which is why I was actually mentioning that point instead of the $18.2 level. So if we actually break below the $18 level, I really have no interpretation that would allow me to still be looking for continuation higher, unless this turns out to be an A wave up, a B wave down, and then we get a C wave to the upside. Because in this fifth wave up in blue, we are looking for an ABC structure to develop. If this fails to hold, it means that this is probably the count that we have, that the A wave topped here, the B wave was down here, and then this was the C wave up, and then this could be the entire wave 5. Or it could be the A wave up, we could then be looking for a B wave, and then still a C wave to the upside for extension. But to be honest, I would find that quite low probability to be the case, to actually still work out if we fail to hold these support levels. And instead, I would most likely be focusing on the larger time frame, where, yeah, I would be expecting a pretty significant correction within this larger wave 4 in green that would be expected to reach the area of support between the $14 level all the way down to the $9.3 level. Now, we have a few ways that could develop within a wave 4 of an impulse. We could be looking at a 3-wave structure in a correction that could unfold itself in many different ways, or for example, we could have a triangle. In this case, it would look, this is what a contracting triangle would look like, where we may get an initial push all the way down to the support area, and then we drift sideways until, yeah, we form a 5-wave structure in an A, B, C, D, E pattern, and then we form the 5th wave to the upside. So yeah, if you are interested, we will, and we can even now, be adding an area of support for such a larger pattern within, let's say, the orange scenario, where I could be looking here at an A, B, C movement to the upside. But keep in mind, I find this a lot lower probability to work out. I find that if we actually break here, either the blue or the white support zone, that, yeah, we are likely within the larger wave 4, and that we probably topped here in a wave 3. And also, yeah, also the RSI is suggesting to me that we likely have a top here, and that, yeah, we have a top unless we continue this movement in a different pattern within the ABC structure that we have here in blue. For example, something like this could work out, could be fine, where we may still need one or two more highs within the wave C, different ways it could play out. And overall, yeah, I'm still looking for higher as long as we stay above the $18 level. That's the main idea. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.